Okay, as we look at examples for 6-2 where we are multiplying and dividing radicals, um, let's just look at number 10 real quick. And what they're asking me to do here is they're asking me to multiply if possible. And so, well, I do have the square root of 8 times the square root of 32, which is going to be what? The square root of 256, and then of course we know that the square root of 256 is going to be, is going to be 16. So there you go. Let's see another example. How about number 19? And what they're asking you to do is they're asking you to simplify. And here I'm going to simplify. We know that we're looking for the square root, and let's go ahead and break it up into its prime factors. Or when I am simplifying a radical, what I want to do is I want to find the greatest perfect square within that radical. And in this case, I know that the greatest perfect square is going to be 4. And that way I'm going to be able to take that square root out. And I'm going to go ahead and break my variables up into squares also. So now when I go to simplify, I know that the square root of 4 is going to be 2. I also know that the square root of x squared is going to be x. And then what I'm left with in the inside is going to be 5x. And there is my answer for number 19. And yes, I did provide you the answers, but I do expect to see this type of work showing me that you are doing something other than just writing the answer down. And let's see, we could look at possibly number 38 too as an example, where we are looking to divide. And I'll do this exactly like we did the examples for our notes. And I have, so let me write this out. Okay, so looking at this, I do know I can simplify some stuff. And I'm going to have the perfect square of which is 16. I'm also going to have x squared. I'm also going to have the square root of x and the square root of 3. So again, I broke 48 up into its largest perfect square, which is 16, and then 16 times 3 is going to give me that 48. And of course, I also broke up my x squared and leaving behind 1x. And this is going to give me the square root of 3, the square root of x, and then the square root of y. And what I like to do, I like to break it up into my prime factors like that, so I can just go ahead and cancel things out and get rid of them. Okay, so now I know that the square root of 16 is going to be 4. I know that the square root of x squared is going to be x, and then that is going to be over the square root of y. And if you remember from the example, when we have a square root in the denominator, we need to go ahead and rationalize that, and we are going to multiply by the number which allows me to create that radical, which if I'm looking for y squared, well, y times y is going to give me y squared, so I'm just going to multiply by the square root of y over the square root of y. That is going to give me 4x square root of y over the square root of y times y. And I think we can simplify that, and you should be able to see that. I wrote it that way to show you that the square root of y squared is going to be y. And there you go. That's not the answer that I have on the sheet, but that is a good answer right there.